Picture this: you're at your favorite taco joint, biting into a mouth-watering al pastor taco, when your friend leans in, eyebrows raised, and says, "Dude, did you hear AMD just posted $7.4 billion in revenue for Q1 2025, up 38% year-over-year?" Naturally, you nearly choke on your taco. Suddenly, your casual lunch feels like a front-row seat to a blockbuster movie, and AMD, Advanced Micro Devices, is the leading star. Yes, it's true. In Q1 2025, AMD delivered an astonishing $7.4 billion in revenue, a 36% increase over the same quarter last year. From the outside, it looks like yet another set of quarterly earnings numbers to file away. But like that taco joint's secret adobo marinade, there's something deeper simmering beneath the surface: product cycle dynamics. While Wall Street fixates on quarter-to-quarter growth, AMD is cooking up a storm for the long run. Grab your tortilla chips and get comfy, because we're about to break down AMD's Q1 results, dive into why the market might be missing the bigger picture, and explore how upcoming product launches and data center expansion could be life-changing for the company, and possibly for your portfolio. Q1 2025 earnings, a strong start. First things first, let's dissect the headline numbers. In Q1 2025, AMD reported revenue of $7.4 billion, up 36% from $5.47 billion in Q1 2024, commonly rounded as 38%. YoY when you consider certain financial analyses. Gross margin of 50%, up 3 percentage points from 47% a year ago. Operating income of $806 million, versus just $36 million a year ago. Yes, that's a 2,139% increase. Net income of $709 million, up from $123 million in Q1 2024, a 476% surge. Non-GAAP operating income of $1.8 billion, a 57% YoY jump, with a 24% operating margin on a non-GAAP basis. Oh, and if you're curious about profitability metrics, AMD's adjusted EPS, earnings per share, came in at 96 cents, a 55% increase over the 62 cents from Q1 2024. In short, AMD didn't just beat expectations. They sent them crying back to their analyst dens like a beaten video game boss. Segment breakdown: Data Center, $3.7 billion, up 57% YoY. The EPYC CPUs and Instinct GPUs stole the show, fueling explosive growth in servers, cloud, and AI workloads. Client and Gaming, $2.9 billion, up 28% YoY. Client revenue, e.g. Zen 5, Ryzen processors, surged 68% YoY to $2.3 billion, while gaming dipped 30% to $647 million, largely due to seasonal semi-custom revenue fluctuations. Embedded, $823 million, down 3% YoY, reflecting mixed demand across industrial and automotive markets. Altogether, these figures paint a picture of a company that's finding traction across multiple fronts, especially in data centers. But while many investors might see up 36% YoY and mentally tick a box, the real story is happening in the product pipelines that haven't fully launched yet. Why the market fixates on quarterly numbers and misses the forest for the trees. Imagine a friend who checks their weight every single morning, flipping out if the scale shows a half-pound gain. Meanwhile, they might be ignoring their trend line. They've lost 10 pounds over the past 2 months thanks to healthier habits. In other words, obsessing over short-term data can cause you to overlook long-term progress. The same phenomenon plays out in the stock market. Analysts pore over quarterly earnings calls, comparing revenue Q1 versus revenue Q4, or gross margin Q1 versus gross margin Q4. If AMD's Q1 revenue was $7.4 billion versus $7.65 billion in Q4 2024, you might see a 3% sequential decline and immediately frown, forgetting that it's still 36% higher than Q1 2024. This quarter-to-quarter mindset can overshadow a more critical factor: product cycle dynamics. AMD is not a treadmill where each quarter's performance should be viewed in isolation. Instead, each product launch acts like a new engine thrusting the company forward. Right now, AMD's product energy tanks are fueling two key rockets, MI350 AI accelerators, ramp production expected later in 2025. Data center expansion, EPYC CPUs and Instinct GPUs proliferating in hyperscale and HPC environments. If you only measure performance by comparing Q1 2025 to Q4 2024, you miss how close AMD is to unleashing these next-generation products. It's as if the market's wearing blinkers, seeing only the immediate track under its feet, while AMD is steering toward a destination that promises to be far more lucrative. By the way, if you are benefiting from the content so far and want more like this, like the video, it means much to me. Hit the subscribe button, turn on the notifications bell, and comment the word more. Just go ahead and type the word more so I know. Now that you have commented, let's continue. MI350 AI accelerators, the new frontline. Let's zoom in on the MI350 AI accelerator, AMD's next-gen, Instinct, GPU designed for inference, and some heavy-duty training. If GPUs were cars, NVIDIA's current Instinct MI300 series is akin to a high-end sports coupe, fast, flashy, and expensive. Meanwhile, AMD's MI350 is gearing up like a rocket-powered muscle car, more affordable per unit but packing so much punch that it threatens to steal thunder and market share. Why inference matters. Training an AI model is like building a giant Lego castle brick by brick in a controlled environment, a data center. It's intensive, power-hungry, and requires massive compute. Inference is when you show the completed castle to millions of fans, letting them marvel at its splits and twists in real time. That requires thousands of smaller castle displays, edge devices, that can quickly and efficiently produce results. As AI applications proliferate, voice assistants, real-time fraud detection, autonomous vehicles, the inference market is exploding, forecasted to be a $times billion market by 2027. AMD's MI350 is designed to dominate this space. Performance. Compared to its predecessor, MI300, the MI350 is touted to offer up to 35 times better inference performance in certain workloads. Power efficiency. It delivers performance per watt that's vital for large data centers aiming to cut energy bills. Cost. AMD traditionally competes on a bang for the buck metric. If MI350 can match or beat NVIDIA's inference performance at a lower price point, enterprises will take notice. Data center expansion, fueling AMD's growth engine. If MI350 is the next-gen GPU, AMD's EPYC CPUs are already kings of the data center hill. Let's break down why data centers are AMD's golden goose, and how they're leveraging it for explosive growth, EPYC momentum. In Q1 2025, AMD's data center segment delivered $3.7 billion, up 57% YoY. EPYC CPUs have been winning design wins at hyperscalers, Amazon Web Services, AWS, Microsoft Azure, and Google Cloud, thanks to superior performance per watt compared to competitor offerings. Mercury Research data shows AMD captured 24.1% of the x86 server processor market in Q1 2025, up from 20.6% a year earlier. Instinct GPUs. Alongside CPUs, AMD's Instinct GPUs, MI200, MI300, handle HPC, high-performance computing, and AI workloads. The MI300A, which powers the world's first exascale supercomputer, Frontier at Oak Ridge National Lab, is evidence that AMD's technology is leading the pack. As more HPC centers, universities, research labs, government facilities adopt MI-series GPUs, AMD's data center presence expands from cloud incumbents to academic and national labs. Strategic partnerships. AMD inked partnerships with major cloud providers, e.g., AWS EC2X series instances featuring AMD CPUs. Efforts to optimize software stacks, RCM. AMD's open-source software platform for GPU computing, aim to reduce friction for AI developers. Product cycle dynamics. Why timing is everything. Here's where most investors get blindsided. Product cycles in semiconductors resemble seasonal harvests more than a continuous conveyor belt. You plant seeds, R&D, nurture them, tape outs, silicon validation, and then watch them bear fruit, product launch and ramp. If you only evaluate the company by quarterly revenue, you might miss that the biggest harvest is coming later in the year, for which now, AMD could be a 300x opportunity of a lifetime. If we fully obey the Lord, the Creator of heaven and earth, and carefully follow all His commandments, He has promised to set us high above all the nations of the earth. Deuteronomy 28. We shall be blessed when we come in and when we go out. I appeal to you to accept God and let Him be your guide, for He will never leave you nor forsake you. Do not be afraid, do not be discouraged. Deuteronomy 31 verse 8. Want more information? Please check the description section. That's the end for now. If you have watched until the end, drop a comment like this: I stayed until the end. Just comment that I stayed until the end. When I see this comment, I will give you a heart. 3 more favors I request from you. First, like this video, subscribe, and then turn on the notifications bell. If you do this, you greatly encourage me to continue bringing to you insightful content. Do not miss out on our future videos full of insight. All I am asking is your subscription. Thanks for joining us today. Your support means so much to us. Do not hesitate to share this video to help someone who may benefit. I recommend that you watch the next video, subscribe to the channel, and share your thoughts about today's video. Wish you God's blessings and care. Faith and prayer will do what no power on earth can accomplish. See you in the next video by God's mercy.